Today we are making corn chip chili mix, and this is a really fun recipe, a little different than the rest because we're actually going to make the recipe in a jar. Everything's dried, and then you can give this as a gift after you decorate it, maybe like a Christmas gift or a hostess gift. And then I'll tell you how to give directions to the person you give it to make a delicious corn chip chili. So the first step is to mix the spices, and there's quite a few spices in this recipe. I've already mixed the spices together. You can see here we've got some nice white and red and green and yellow pigments. Give it a lot of color. So what I have mixed together is 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano leaves, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of dried parsley flakes, or you could use cilantro instead, and a 1/4 cup of dried minced onion. So now that the spices are all mixed, let's get this out of the way. So we have plenty of room to layer our jar. So all that's going in the jar is the spice mix and 2 kinds of beans. You can choose any kinds of beans that you want. I today have black beans and pinto beans. So you want dried beans, obviously, not canned, uncooked, dried beans. But you could use kidney beans or garbanzo beans, whatever you like. In total, you need 1½ cups of beans. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of black beans. And carefully pour those in the jar. All right. And then maybe about half of the spice mix. So you're going to layer and use your spoon to try and make it pretty. And then a 1/2 cup of pinto beans. They can get away from me, you have to be careful. So then the 1/2 cup of pinto beans, and then the rest of the spice mix. So as you can see, this is really quick and easy. It costs about $3 for 1 jar if you buy all the spices, but of course we didn't use up all the spices today. So if you have a lot of spices left over, the beans are cheap, you can make mini jars for a pretty economical amount of money. This is a very cheap gift. And lastly, on top, we're going to add a whole package of corn chips. So we actually put the whole package in. If you have a wide mouth jar, you can fit the whole package in without the package popping, but in this case, I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to have to either pop it or open it up to let a little bit of air out, and then crush the chips and push it through. So you can make this a little bit ahead of time. The jar is going to be sealed, so the chips shouldn't dry out, but you probably don't want to make it months in advance. Then we are complete in what's in our jar contents, so we're going to screw on the top and then decorate it a little bit. So if it's Christmas, maybe you want to do some yellow and green or yellow and gold ribbon or bows. You can decorate it however you like. You can put stickers. If you have kids, I'm sure they would love to help with this part. They could really help with the whole thing. It's pretty easy. And then you want to make sure to put a tag on and write the directions. So I'm going to tell you what you need to write. You want to make sure that when you give this to the person, you share with them or have on the card, they need to mix this with 6 cups of water. So they mix the beans, the spices, with 6 cups of water and let it simmer for at least 2 hours. Then before they're ready to serve it, put in 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes and heat thoroughly, and then it's ready to serve. If you probably want to tell them also to keep looking at that. If it's simmering more than 2 hours, want to make sure that it's not drying out, add a little bit more water if necessary. But then at the end, when it's all ready to go, put it in a bowl, take the corn chips, crush them up over the individual servings, individual bowls, and it's a beautiful gift that your hostess will be sure to enjoy.